welcome Katherine, Kim, Mullin, and Karine to our stage. And I am so excited to have you here. And Karine, how do we say your last name, or how do we say Karine's last name?
It's Ewart. Can you hear me? I'm having some technical issues on my end. I apologize.
I can hear you loud and clear.
And just before you leave, Haley, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. So I'm going to play musical chairs and pop you two up to the top. I will be here. But with that, I'm going to give you two the stage.
Thank you so much, Haley. Okay. Hi, Karine. We're not in the same place. So, I'm really excited to be here. Thank you, Women's Entrepreneur Network. And I'm really excited that my partner, Karine, can join me today. So thank you, Haley, and your big team that's working hard to receive us. And today, we want to share something that's really dear to my heart, and anybody that knows me looks, and dear to Karine. She'll get to show you why in a few minutes, but the power of knowledge. We are always feeding our minds. We're bombarded, really. If it's not in the educational institutions, it's like media, but there's always stuff coming in. The beauty that I find in books is that as we feed our mind, we get to apply what we're reading. So knowledge is really powerful when you understand how it applies to you. And and really for me today, personally, and what we speak of all the time, with Karine, is transporting what you feed your mind into physical form, which we're going to today cover some books and speak to that closely. So maybe, Karine, maybe you'll have something you'd like to say?
Yeah, I just wanted to speak a little bit to sort of our philosophy that all of your life, when you're trying to achieve emotional wealth, and we say that as defined by you, nobody can tell you what means wealthy and healthy to you. But we talk about how your spiritual wealth and your physical wealth and your mental wealth and your financial wealth and your social wealth, they all overlap and they all combine to help you create emotional wellness and emotional wealth. So that's our philosophy that we speak to all the time. And today we're speaking specifically to, we have a thing that we call our carrying bag. If you're going on a trip, what are you going to pack? And so these are sort of our top three books that mean so much to us. And before I get to mine, I'm going to throw it actually back to Katherine, because to be perfectly frank, she has influenced my reading list so significantly. I should have bought shares in any of the book companies that I've been ordering from ever since I met Katherine. But she's got some good recommendations, and I'm going to jump in the middle. So take it away, Katherine.
Thank you, Karine. And I guess the three books we're going to speak to today, and really three key points in them, is Think and Grow Rich, dear to my heart. The Secret, Karine's going to speak to. And then I'm going to speak to another one. I want to surprise the last one because it's a surprise, but it's a great book. So I will surprise you on that one. Let's get Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, a true classic. It was written like 20 years of research in 1937 and published in 1937, right? So imagine he sold 70 million copies since then, and people are still using it. And then we talk about The Secret, which started, and Karine will speak more to it, 2006, and was a movie before it was a book. Now, that's interesting. And then, okay, I can't hold back. Fearless Marketing by our very own Haley Lynn Gray. And you know what? The founder of this community, she published it in 2018, created it to help business leaders through a step-by-step process to show them how to take their business from $0 to $350,000 to $1 million and then to 10 million. And you know what? Help us build our very own 8-figure business. That's what's available to you. I wish I found this book years ago, and I'll show you why in a few minutes. So we're going to jump on to Think and Grow Rich. Just in case you wonder how committed I am to that book, this was my version of the book, my first version. I read this. I was in my 20s. I love so much about this book, but mostly I love how it's so easy to apply. And I've been studying this book, for over 40 years. And I still read it today and get excited about a little nugget. It meant so much to me. And I remember when I picked it up, and I share this because we're talking about applying knowledge from books. The books that have made the biggest impact, sometimes I didn't catch them right away. I read this book and the print was small and I didn't get it. And it was so male focused that I hate to use this word, but I was stuck. It's like dead to what's coming next. Like, whoa, I can't get past the next word. And then when I got it and I picked it up, I got it. What that did for me is I created a book club that's free, that a few women join. It's not overpopulated, but what we do is we read and share our thoughts on it, because I will spend the rest of my life reading this book once a week. I read every day. Now, here are the 3 things I'd like to share about that book today that could make a difference for you. How you think. So the first thing is thoughts become things. Things are created twice, once in your mind and once in physical form. So whatever you're thinking right now is what your life's going to look like tomorrow. So thoughts become things. What are you thinking? We often put thoughts out. We put a goal out, which we'll talk to in a couple minutes. But then we contradict. Our thoughts start to worry about it. We start to give ourselves all the reasons it's not going to happen. If you are aware that your thoughts and your actions filled with emotion is going to give you exactly what you want in life, well, there's a nugget from that book. Let's look for the second one. And this one's really exciting because last night, Wednesday night, is book club for me. And we were in the room and we did chapter 2, Burn and Desire. So the starting point of all achievement and the first step towards riches. If you were looking at the book, my newer version, and you read it, on page 25, they refer to something that really created great conversation, which is willing to burn the ships. And people immediately say, burn the bridges, burn the ships, go all in. And they think that means quit their job, leave their husband or wife, change their life, burn the ships and start fresh. No, there's another version of that. You continue with the same job, doing a great job. You continue with your life, but your burn and desire, where you focus, your main focus, you burn the rest of the ideas and you focus on that one thing you want. And that's really what burn the ships might mean. It might mean just finding what you want and going all in. But really, burn and desire is a goal setting, an exercise in goal setting. I was fortunate enough, the advantage of the 63 years wisdom was I met Zig Ziglar. And I sat in the front room in a small venue where I learned goal setting from him. And I thought I learned from the best. That was strategy. Bob Proctor, I later learned, taught dreaming and what a real desire is. When you combine the two and develop something called vision mapping, the visual of the goal, with your goal card, you have it all. So your goal needs to be definite, is what they say. And the method by which desire for riches, and I'm reading exactly as it's had in the book, can be transmuted into its financial equivalent consists of 6 practical steps. On page 26 of the book, they're there. I don't want to take all my time on that, but it's the goal setting exercise. Make sure you have that. I think Haley was just doing a goal setting thing as well recently, but follow that up. My next point that I want to bring up, my third point from Think and Grow Rich, because I want to spend the whole time on this one beautiful book, is how to outwit the 6 ghosts of fear. And that's the closing chapter. So I started with the beginning and now I'm going to the end. Closing chapter, which suggests we find out how many are standing in our way. Because what does fear do? Stand in our way. So, they're hidden in our subconscious, and there's really 6 of them. And take the time to recognize them. So what are the fears? The fear of criticism. Ooh, that's a hard one for entrepreneurs. That's the one I want to focus on here. The fear of criticism. I'll type in the chat later those 6 fears. I don't want to take your precious time or our bit of time together, but very important. And, poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love of someone, old age, death. The one for entrepreneurs is criticism. We're so afraid of it. Sometimes it holds us back. Take risks, go forward. Karine, maybe you could speak to the secret a little bit.
I would love to. Thank you. And thank you to Haley and you guys, the entire community, for allowing me to be in my mobile office, as I like to call it. I also call it my moving buffet. So I'm wanting to speak a moment about The Secret by Rhonda, and I actually have to look to pronounce her name. I say it Byrne all the time. It is Byrne. Sometimes I say Bryn. I want to make sure I got it right. So this book was published in 2006. I had 4 children between 2001 and 2006. So this book actually came into my life right after I had 4 kids. So 50% of those kids I have twins, 50% of them are 18. They just turned 18. They're going to school in the fall. I'm telling you, or going to university in the fall. I'm telling you that story because I had this on my bedside table where it always is. And one of my twins is going through a hard time. It's hard right now, being 18, trying to make life decisions when you are very, very young. Anyways, he looked at me and he said, "You know what, Mom? I need to read that again," because I gave this to my kids pretty much the day they could read, or I read it to them when they were young. And I told him, I'm like, "You can't have it tonight because I need it for tomorrow. I'm doing something with Katherine." So, but I'm going to give it to him when I'm finished today. And the reason why I gave it to them or read to them when they were young is because this dialogue, this language was not a part of my upbringing. I did not realize that gratitude was a power. I wish I had known that when I was much younger. So it's really been influential in my life since I read it. It really spearheaded or jump-started my journey into personal development, recognizing that there are things that I can learn, tools for my toolbox, or as we say, things to pack in my carrying bag, that I can take with me everywhere. And this is the one book that I will go back to every single time. Just a little fun side note. I'm not sure if you noticed Katherine's Think and Grow Rich book. Mine is The Secret, even though I read it all the time. It is practically, you could borrow it and think you were getting it from the bookstore. But that just goes to show you, people read differently. They take things differently from what they read. As Katherine says, you can read something that from your favorite book and learn something new. So my recommendation, not a recommendation, sorry, I shouldn't say that. The one book that influenced me and has had a huge impact on my life and my children's lives is The Secret. And I could talk at length about it more, but I'm going to throw it back to Katherine because I know she has one more very important book to get to.
I'm really excited. I was fortunate enough to fly down to North Carolina, and I received Haley Gray's book. And I have to tell you, I'm going to buy a few of them on Amazon. And the reason I'm going to do that is for all my friends that are starting a business, already in business. So, sorry, Haley, if I'm embarrassing you. I'm pretty excited to share what I got from your book right here. Because if you're a startup with no knowledge, perfect, because this is going to give you a very simple way to get through it, to get your business and some tips. But if you're like, done that, I've been in business 40 years. Like, come on, I know how to do all that stuff. I've set up businesses, more than one. I counsel businesses. I do commercial real estate and finance. Of course, I know business. I'm going to share some things I got from this. This is a great reminder. It actually inspired me to take action on several things, and I wanted to remind myself. So I'm going to say how I post in social media. I can speak. I've can speak to business people. I can speak to women. Posting in social media. And I'm lucky because I have Karine, who that's her background. But most people don't have a Karine. And most people are on their own. And even no matter how much experience you have in business, like there's some great tips in here on how to do it. Simple. And it's like linked to the Facebook page to the group. Have a group, have a page, never link the two. Thank you, Haley. You know, selective with your clientele. I am so selective. You know what? I love people, but I'm a business snob. I do business with people that want and need what I'm offering. I select my clients, always have. I've been very reluctant online, struggling to get it going because I didn't want to be bombarded with a bunch of people that wouldn't benefit, or I was wrong for them, they were wrong for me. So thank you, Haley, for showing me how to do it online. And you know what? I give away the farm. So I really like what Haley reminds us. Give away free, give value. Don't give away the farm. And Karine loves you for that because really that's something. So what does all that mean and the impact of it on your business? Well, I remember starting out and here's the things I heard. Know your ICA. What the heck's an ICA? You better have SEO. What? CRM. What's happening with it? And other 3 letters? Or better yet, branding. Oh, you have to be branded. What the heck does that look like? Not my language, not my thing. 40 years counseling businesses, multi-million dollars. And you know what? Never heard of those things. Now here's the kicker, sales funnel. Has Karine joined on trying to get her online with this Kajabi? And not that I'm promoting any of them. There's plenty of them that are good. But trying to explain to her what a sales funnel is, I understood and I didn't, but Haley does a fabulous job. She says, basically, it's taken someone from awareness to interest to decision and then finally to action on page 114. 5 different kinds and easy to understand and do. Call to action, more specific you are with your requests, the more likely you are to get those requests filled and make that money. And client onboarding. You know what? We're sell. We deliver. What's between? Haley's book. So you know what? I need to say, like, build the systems as you go, but improve them as you grow. Come on, like advice. Client service along the customers online. Customers can be served the same way. Client service is so important. Networking and follow up. Haley, I mean, if you don't have her book, and I wasn't asked to do this because I was on Think and Grow Rich. But you know what? Thank you is what I would say. And any of you sitting there, you'll be glad to find it soon. And now, before I end, I'd say Sage Navigation. We already know, we've told you what it is. And today what we showed you was feed your mind, transport it into physical being. You know what? Remember, things are created twice. And at the end, you know what? Book talk, reading books. If you want to know more about it, you can find us. I'm going to put something in the link because we're allowed to, and I don't want to take any more of your time, but we're grateful to be here. Thank you.
That was amazing. Thank you all so much for being here, and thank you so much for your kind words. And, giving value back is something that I really aim to do to hopefully help at least one more business owner. Thank you for being here today. Thank you, Karine. Thank you, Katherine. I am excited to have had you here, and blessings to both of you. And with that, we are going to play musical chairs again. And